of that is, me feeding into the narratives. 'Cause I didn't watch every Grizzlies game, so I can't comment on everything that happens in Memphis. But like the narrative surrounding him was this is a guy who can't come back under any means necessary, and like I said, he shoots you out of playoff series. He's talking and not necessarily backing it up on the court. And then he comes to Houston, like I said, just completely rewrites that narrative about himself, where the narrative about him being a bad teammate couldn't have been further from the truth. I credit him a lot immediately with the defensive improvements I saw from the entire team, but more specifically in Jabari and Tari. I think the way we saw Amin Thompson play defense yesterday, who do you think he gets that from? He gets that from Dillon. Like there's a lot of that stuff you see. Like, it's funny that Dillon kind of went into the post game press conference and was complaining about Houston's physicality. And I was like, Dillon, who do you think they got that from? where did you think that came
was he
from?
being serious in that post game press?
Probably not.
Yeah, I think he was trolling.
You know what I'm saying? But like, if like we got that from you, bro, like that came from that intensity on the defensive end was Ime and Dillon Brooks. So like obviously that immediately translated. And then I don't think anybody saw it. Maybe sans Brad saw the fact that he was going to shoot as well as he did from three for the Rockets for the last 2 seasons, because I think he was like 33% as a career. Maybe he might even be lower than that.
Yeah, he took way too many. Yeah, he took way too many off the dribble threes at Memphis. He was 36% catch and shoot. So I was like,
even then, they're not the greatest. 36. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so he shot 40% last year. So
he did.
Didn't see him being that good of a shooter coming to Houston, but obviously when he came here, he elevated his play, and like it got to the point where I said it plenty of times. If Dillon had his feet squared and caught the ball in rhythm, I thought he was making it. Like, respectfully, I thought he was going in every time he shot the ball. And I mean, we saw yesterday, not just like from the 3-point perspective, but definitely from that mid-range perspective, he was cash. And that was another thing too. Like, I did not like Dillon's shot selection inside the arc, and outside the paint for a huge chunk of his time in Houston. And then like halfway through last season, I was just like, you know what, bro, the shot's going in, and respectfully, our offense isn't the greatest anyway. So if we're gonna get 2 points from Dillon Brooks fadeaway, I mean, like, I guess, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I ended up liking that shot. I said it. He was, I think he was our most consistent perimeter scorer. I think the highs from, like, Jalen were definitely higher, and from Fred were definitely higher. But in terms of consistency, what you could expect on a night in and night out basis, I think it was definitely Dillon. I think he's an argument to be the most consistent scorer on the team, period. It's out of him and Shingon. And so seeing that guy go, just the teammate that he was and the guy he was to the Houston community and to the locker room, like that made me very sad to see him go. And then, like I said, he went out and performed at a high level just yesterday, and he's been on the tear so far this season, and his increased opportunity in Phoenix. And so, yeah, man, he's a guy who, like, I really, really wish there was a way we could have got KD and kept Dillon. I think, can you imagine Dillon Brooks on this current Rockets team, dude? Like, it'd be crazy, bro. So yeah, best of luck to him in Phoenix. Obviously, I'm glad he's able to thrive over there. He's the kind of guy who, like, he's gonna go down in like my pantheon of like favorite Rockets players, just because of how much he meant to this team these last 2 years. So shout out to Dillon.
And Brandon, before you go, I'll just rattle off his stats in the last 6 games. Dillon is averaging 25.7 points in the last 6 games for the Suns, 2.2 steals on a 61 true shooting percentage. 20 shots a game, by the way. So he's definitely been hooping for sure.
Yeah. So I like what Will said at the end about imagining him on this team. Because that's what I was going to lead with was, Will says how he misses Dillon Brooks. I, too, miss Dillon Brooks and would echo a lot of what you said about the initial reaction to him signing with the team. I was not a fan of it, not high on it at all. I did get to be around it a little bit early and could see like that some of that effect that he was having on some of the younger players, and just how he and Ime Udoka seem to be cut from the same cloth as well, even though Dillon is known for some of the theatrics and some of the sideshow stuff that's associated with him and his brand. And Ime is very, like, more so direct. When it comes to ball, they were kind of cut from the same cloth. He was kind of like Ime on the court a lot of times. And so it's kind of to your point, too, about him being maybe their most well-rounded perimeter scorer. I think there were stretches there when he was here where he was their most well-rounded player because of what he also brought you on the defensive end. Now, I don't think he was as great of a defender here as maybe as his reputation.
Yeah.
But I still liked having him out there on defense, like, even though it wasn't necessarily as good as maybe you expected or wanted it to be. So yeah, I think about that, not just the fact that you and I miss Dillon Brooks. I wonder how much that team actually misses Dillon Brooks as good as they're doing. We talked about it just a moment ago in our season overview, how it's hard to complain about 11-4. But I feel like they're an even better team if Dillon Brooks is on the team, just because of what he brings both tangibly and intangibly. Let me tell y'all about Prize Picks, man. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. The app is really easy to use. To make a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats. You can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. And best of all, Prize Picks will give you $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. So that's win or lose. You'll get 50 bucks in lineups. Basketball season, NBA season, Rocket season obviously is here, and there is no better time to get in. Just use promo code Rockets and download the app now. Prize Picks is good to be right. To me, there are things that you can measure, which the 3-point shooting you talked about it, Will. Like those are some of the tangible things that he brings to you, like his game, and then some of the stuff that maybe you can't really see or measure that I thought was evidenced in like the love that he got from his teammates. And I mean, I know y'all saw. Obviously, I watched the game and it was all over social media of like the hugs and dap and that funny ass moment with Ma, after Steven Adams or after he checked Steven Adams, and I think that was the one, right? And then Ma kind of jumps in
Yeah.
there
Yeah, that
and
was.
like he's gonna bark at him,
Yeah.
but he can't even hold like he breaks character immediately and can't even hold a straight face because he's like, come on, man, we're about the same thing. Like, this
Yeah.
is basically what we do. So yeah, man. Like I wish Dillon Brooks the best, and kind of echo some of what Will said. It would have been good to have him. I will say this though about the game, about his performance and some of the points that Will was making about him, and like out of Memphis and sometimes even here. It was very much a Dillon Brooks kind of game, like where he's like, man, I got the green light. I'm chucking it up there. I'm getting my shots up. And honestly, I thought it played into the Rockets' hands. Not that they wouldn't have been good enough to beat Phoenix anyway, who was playing well coming into the game. But like, give me the strategy of let's devote our attention to Devin Booker and making sure that he doesn't go off, and let's let Dillon Brooks have one of his better nights of the season. Like I'm with that. I can, from a Rocket standpoint, I can rock with that. So, but as far as Dillon Brooks goes, it was good to see him out there and good to see them all kind of interact for the first time.
He did something yesterday when I went back and watched the game that reminded me a lot of his time in Houston on the defensive end, because I think Dillon, when he came into the league, he was definitely like one of the best. Has he ever made an all defensive team? I don't think he has. Has he?
That's a great question. I
I
can
I
don't.
don't
I
think
actually.
don't.
I don't
I
think he
don't.
I don't
has.
think he's ever
Yeah,
made
I
an all
don't think
I don't
defensive
think
so.
he
team.
has.
Yeah.
But but the what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah. His reputation in a from like when he first came into the league as a defender was that
Second team, second team. Not to
he
cut you
made
off.
second team.
Second
What
team in
year was it? Like
Okay.
2019?
2020. It says he was second team in 2023.
Wow, so the year we signed him.
Ah.
Okay,
Okay.
well,
Nice. Okay.
I feel
I
like
don't
I
remember
should
that.
know that. Yeah, I don't remember that either, and I feel like I should
The
know that.
media just like scrubbed that from existence.
But like even still though, like I do my due diligence when we sign guys. I feel like I should have I should like if it was the year we signed him, I feel like I should know that. But regardless, my point was is that before he came to Houston, especially when he first came into the league, and
Mhm.
his calling card was literally just playing defense, he was one of the better defenders in the league on the perimeter in terms of locking up opposing team's best offensive players. Like that was definitely his calling card. Now, as he got older and his game expanded, and his team started asking him to do more offensively, you saw his defense kind of take a decline. And I think you saw that definitely a lot more his last year in Houston, where his defense wasn't even as good as it was the previous year. And I think a huge part of that was because he was being asked to do more on the offensive end. It's hard. I mean, we're watching him and Thompson do it. It's hard to be one of the like the go-to guys on offense and then also go out there and lock up LeBron for a full game. It's pretty difficult to
Mhm.
do that. Now, I think even with that being said, I think his point of attack defense is still pretty stout. Like it ranges from like good to like great at times. Like there was the possession at the start of the game where he just like shut down Amin Thompson by himself. I think where Dillon's biggest weakness on the defensive end is one thing I watched when I went back and rewatched it is he is not a good off-ball defender. And it's not because he sucks off-ball, it's because Dillon Brooks wants to get in the play. He wants to help defense everything. It does not
Yeah.
matter if he's For example, guarding Buddy Hield in an elimination game 7, who is Buddy Hield really can't do too much on the ball, but off that ball, catch and shoot, he's a demon. And that's how I think he had like 30, 31 points in that game 7.
I feel like he didn't miss in that game. I don't think he did.
25 of that 30 was on Dillon. And it wasn't because Dillon was out there getting splacked on. It's because Dillon was cheating the entire game. And I saw that a lot. Yeah, a lot of those Aaron Holiday and Reed Shepard threes, them Jabari Smith threes, they came because Dillon was cheating. And like I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's Alperen Sengun. You don't want to give him one-on-one opportunities, but you surround Alperen Sengun with shooters. And I didn't even know this until I looked it up. We are actually number 1 in 3-1 percentage right now, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, that's kind of how you lose. You get a 6 to 10. Was that what he shot? Aaron